you, Josh. My name is Reverend Noel Anderson with Church World Service, and I help coordinate the national effort on the sanctuary movement. And glad to be with you all. Thank you all for joining. We are here today, of course, talking about how the Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents have detained Arturo Hernandez García at his workplace yesterday morning. For Arturo and his family, like millions of our brothers and sisters across this country, these are dire times. Arturo, a father of two citizen children and a small business owner, has called the U.S. his home for almost 2 decades. He sacrificed 9 months in sanctuary at the First Unitarian Church in Denver, Colorado, in order to stay with his family. He received a letter from ICE headquarters in July of 2015, saying he was not a priority for enforcement. So today we will hear from key leaders involved in this struggle to release Arturo from detention, including Jennifer Piper, the interfaith organizer for American Friends Service Committee in Denver, Ana Salsameda, Arturo's wife and a leader in the community, Jeanette Vizguerra, who is a mother and also in sanctuary in Denver, and one of Time's 2017's 100 most influential people, Reverend Mike Moran, pastor at the First Unitarian Society of Denver, the congregation that hosted Arturo and is now currently hosting Jeanette. So as faith leaders and supporters of the sanctuary movement, we are expressing grave concern, of course, of this action by ICE. It is a moral outrage that ICE is targeting Arturo, who is our friend, our neighbor, and a leader, a key leader in the sanctuary movement effort. The detention of Arturo, someone who was previously in sanctuary, sends a message that this administration, as we have already seen in their executive orders, is set on tearing families apart and even attacking the integrity of this faith-rooted effort to keep Arturo with his wife and children. Now, since the election, we have seen sanctuary congregations multiply from 400 to 800, from 12 regional coalitions to 20. And we are now all working together to call on all our faith communities across the country to pray for Arturo's release and to take action now through vigils, mobilizations, and calling ICE. We will also continue to partner across the country to interrupt these policies of the administration, but to also call on Congress to reject this $4.5 billion added in the budget for border and interior enforcement. This is the wrong direction for our country. We cannot take money from vital programs that serve the community in order to give money to rip families apart. And so now we'd like to hear from Jennifer Piper, who's been on the ground with Arturo's family in the community, organizing to try to get the release of Arturo. So Jennifer, the AFSC in Denver, thank you so much for being on this call to share what is happening.
Yeah, thank you so much, Noel, for your introduction, for your support of our work here, and to all the media who are on the call today. Nothing has changed in Arturo's life. He's still the same guy, working, being with his family, watching the Broncos, hanging out at his house. And the only thing that changed were the policies of this administration, which is really focused on removing all undocumented people and tearing families apart. Arturo continues to work and contribute to his community, paying taxes and watching his daughters grow. His eldest, Mariana, is going to graduate high school this May 15th and is a DACA recipient. And she's the whole reason that Ana and Arturo moved to the United States, was to give her a better education and a better chance. So we're hoping that immigration will give him the chance to be present for that significant moment in her life. He also has an application pending for residency through his in-laws since 2005. The line for family applications is very, very long, the backlog. But his in-laws did the right thing. They applied for him in 2005 as soon as they could, and he's in that line. he has a final order of deportation, but he also had a commitment from the Department of Homeland Security that they would use his discretion to not enforce that order. And what we want to recognize is that the policies have changed so rapidly under this administration. They're different. The policies are now that everyone is a priority who is undocumented for removal. And we believe that the field offices should work with people like Arturo who have received relief in the past to figure out ways to allow them to remain in the U.S. and continue to evaluate their legal options, continue to pursue those options, and to give people a chance who've been here for decades, get their life together, and decide what's best for them to do next. And so we're calling on Immigration and Customs Enforcement to work with us. Arturo's lawyer and several congressional offices have been in touch with the local field office today, and we're hopeful that they'll recognize he has those avenues and that he has humanitarian reasons as well to be released while he waits for those legal avenues to come to fruition. We will be out at the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Office again today from 11 to 4, holding vigil and calling on the field office director to reevaluate the case. And then our members will be attending a sanctuary policy forum here in Denver to continue to gain ground in policies that separate immigration and customs enforcement and local law enforcement resources and efforts. And so our whole community will be attending that meeting tonight here in Denver to continue to look for ways to address the system that we have and make it more just.
Great, thank you so much. I think we can tell that organizing effort that's been really robust in a short amount of time, it is really starting to make a difference. And we do see that there are legal avenues that Arturo can be able to stay, and so that is something we'll continue to hope and pray for. Now let us hear from Ana Saltameda, who is the wife of Arturo, and I can attest from even going to meetings with ICE in D.C. with Ana, she is an incredible leader and has been a real strong voice for Arturo throughout this process. Entonces, gracias tanto, Ana, por estar con nosotros hoy. So please share with us now. Piper or Ana back with us? If not,
ayer. Tal vez
move on.
Otra vez.
¿Aló? ¿Jeanette?
Sí, soy yo.
Bueno, no escucho a Jenny, entonces quizás ya vamos con usted. I'm not hearing Jennifer Piper or Ana, so perhaps we should go on to Jeanette and come back to Ana. So as you all know, I'm sure Jeanette Vizguerra is very well known now in the sanctuary movement as an amazing spokesperson for so many people like her who are facing deportation, facing, being separated from their children. So thank you, Jeanette, for being with us. Gracias por estar con nosotros. Did you want me to interpret for you, or do you want to go speak in English?
Es mejor que interprete.
Okay. So I will interpret for Jeanette.
Bueno, mi nombre es Jeanette Vizguerra y pues llevo conociendo a Arturo por ya 4 años.
So my name is Jeanette Vizguerra, and I have been friends with Arturo, knowing him for the last 4 years.
Conozco su historia de cómo entró al sistema y realmente no fue justo la manera en que entró al sistema.
I know how he became part of the system, how he ended up getting his removal order, and I know that was very unjust the way that happened.
Él salió de estar en santuario y lo único que yo he visto es que sigue siendo un padre dedicado, un buen esposo que está trabajando muy duro para su familia.
When he went into sanctuary and ever since forward, I've always seen that Arturo is a good father, a good husband, and he's working hard for his family.
Y la manera en que el Departamento de Homeland Security actuó ayer no fue la correcta, porque para nosotros, o por lo menos para mí, esto es un mensaje o un ataque directo al movimiento santuario.
And what we've seen happen yesterday to Arturo is wrong. The fact that ICE went after him and detained him, we see this as an attack on the entire sanctuary movement.
Porque tal vez es un mensaje que quieren darnos para intimidar el movimiento que está creciendo y que estamos trabajando muy duro y muy fuerte para la comunidad.
And we wonder, is this an attack on the sanctuary movement as a way to intimidate us as we continue to grow stronger with more people involved every day?
Pero yo creo que lo más fuerte y lo más difícil de todo esto es ver cómo está dañando a las familias. Ayer en unos minutos le cambiaron la vida a la familia de Arturo.
But what is worse is how the families suffer from separation. In one moment, in one instance, we see that the life of Arturo's family could be permanently changed.
Un ejemplo, yo ayer fui testigo porque su hija más pequeña, Andrea, es mi amiga en Facebook. Y pude ver cómo ella estaba pendiente de los artículos que salían de su papá. Pude ver cómo era muy noche y ella estaba despierta revisando los artículos de su papá.
And I'm very close with Arturo's daughter, and we were chatting last night even, and there she was going through the articles on Facebook about her father up until late, worried about what would happen.
Yo lo único que pude decirle es que durmiera, que estábamos haciendo todo lo posible porque su papá regresara a casa. Porque el sistema no se da cuenta cuántos niños están afectando.
And the only thing I could say to Arturo's daughter is that you have to sleep. And we are doing everything we can to make sure that Arturo is released. I don't think that those who are running this system understand how many children are being impacted so much by this.
No son solo los niños de Arturo, no son solo mis hijos, son miles de niños que ahorita están sufriendo por la misma situación. El día de ayer hubo redadas en diferentes estados. ¿Cuántas familias más van a ser afectadas porque el Congreso no está tomando acción en hacer algo para que esta separación tan grande de familias siga pasando?
And it's not just Arturo's children or my children, it's millions of children like them who are being impacted by these policies. There was just raids yesterday in several different states, and this is happening because Congress has failed to take action to change these unjust policies and laws.
Estamos viendo que están implementando leyes ejecutivas donde hablan de dinero que se paga de los contribuyentes como para construir el muro, para seguir financiando leyes antimigrantes. ¿Por qué mejor no invertir esos dineros en cosas productivas como educación, como salud, y estar martirizando, torturando a las familias?
And we see that they are proposing more funding for the wall, for increased enforcement, for increased separation of families. These are funds that should be going to education programs, things that could be benefiting the community. Instead, these funds they want to put toward torturing and terrifying families like ours.
Ahora no sé si como yo, Noel, que es líder de fe, Mike, que es un líder de fe, esto que hicieron el día de ayer también fue un ataque a la comunidad de fe.
And we see that we have with us Reverend Noel Anderson and Reverend Mike Moran with us today on the call, but so many other faith communities and faith leaders have joined us in the sanctuary movement, and this is also an attack on them, on the faith community.
¿Qué más va a seguir atacando esta nueva administración? ¿Queremos un país destruido? No es lo que queremos. Queremos familias llenas de amor, comunidades en unidad, No queremos más ataques a las comunidades.
And how many more attacks will come? We see that they are terrorizing the families in our midst. How long, how many more families have to suffer?
Bueno, pues esa es mi parte. Yo le pido al Departamento de Homeland Security que dejen libre a Arturo y que regrese con su familia. Y ahorita Ana va a explicar sus razones por qué necesita a su esposo con ella.
So thank you. This is my part, and I call on the Department of Homeland Security to release Arturo and let him go back with his family now. And I'll pass it back over to Ana now to tell us why she wants her husband back with her family. And I hear from Jennifer that you all are back with Ana.
Yeah, can you hear us?
We can.
Yay. Sí, buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Ana Sautameda y soy la esposa de Arturo. Good afternoon, everybody. Good morning. This is Ana Sautameda and I am Arturo's wife. Bueno, yo les quiero platicar brevemente de cómo Arturo entró en el sistema. Él en el 2010 tuvo un problema en su trabajo con una persona que lo acusó de algo que él no cometió. Él solamente estaba haciendo su trabajo y I wanted to just say briefly how we came to this point. In 2010, Arturo was at work, and another person where he worked accused him of threatening them. He didn't do that, and later a jury found him innocent. Él estuvo yendo a cortes de la policía, lo cual a él lo encontraron que fue inocente, pero de ahí siguió el problema con inmigración dentro del sistema. De ahí estuvimos peleando el caso por 4 años. So he went to all of his court dates with the police, and a jury of 12 folks found Arturo innocent. But the immigration proceedings continued against him. We fought for 4 years. We went to court dates and spent thousands on lawyers. De ahí, pues, él le dieron su orden final de salida, la cual él no se presentó, y fue en el momento que él entró a santuario, a tomar santuario para evitar su deportación. So after all of that time, he received a final order of deportation, and instead of presenting, he entered sanctuary in order to prevent his deportation. Ahí él estuvo por 9 meses luchando en poder parar su deportación. Él y yo y todos los grupos y toda la comunidad nos estuvieron ayudando. Se logró obtener una carta de ICE comprometiéndose a que él no era una prioridad para ser deportado. So he sacrificed himself living in sanctuary for 9 months, and during that time, myself, my family, community groups, people from all around the country advocated for him to be able to leave the church safely. And after 9 months, Immigration and Customs Enforcement sent him a letter saying that he is not a priority for deportation. Él salió con esa carta, estuvo amparado por esa carta. De ahí, saliendo de ahí, tuvimos una vida pues normal, él trabajando como siempre lo ha hecho, con su familia, conviviendo, sus hijas en la escuela, yo también trabajando. Estábamos muy tranquilos y muy felices. So from there, he left First Unitarian in good faith, believing in the promise of immigration officials. And we went back to our normal life with Arturo working like he always had, me working, taking turns picking up our daughters from school, a normal, a happy, kind of boring life.
Pues hasta el día de ayer que cada quien en la mañana salió a su trabajo, él se fue a su trabajo, yo salí al mío. Yo estaba llegando a mi trabajo cuando recibí una llamada de mi hermano dándome la mala noticia que inmigración se había llevado detenido a Arturo.
So that life, that normal life continued until yesterday morning. We each left the house like we do every day to go to work, and I was almost to my job site when my brother called me to tell me the terrible news that Arturo had been detained and taken away by Immigration and Customs Enforcement.
Sí, pues lo más triste de todo es que él cuando llegó a las oficinas, él les dijo que él estaba amparado por una carta que le habían dado comprometiéndose a no deportarlo, y le dijeron que esa carta era una carta que se le había dado bajo la anterior administración y que en esta nueva administración esa carta ya no era válida, que porque ya habían cambiado todas las políticas.
And what was hardest was when Arturo told them about the letter he had received and other folks had talked with immigration about it. They said that letter had been issued under a previous administration and that the new administration would not be honoring those promises or those good faith efforts.
Y pues, pues nos ha impactado a mis hijas y a mí bastante eso que está pasando. Mis hijas ayer estaban muy mal. Yo también. Pues ahorita estamos tratando de luchar para tratar de poder parar la deportación de él, junto con todos los grupos, con toda la comunidad, y con la abogada que está también hoy va a tratar de someter una parada de deportación.
So it's been very difficult, the impact on me and my daughters. We had a terrible day yesterday. It was impossible to think or to know what we should do next. But today we're working with Arturo's lawyer and the community and groups around the country to try and stop his deportation. The lawyer is preparing to file legal paperwork in his case.
Pues le quiero pedir a toda la gente que vamos a estar haciendo vigilias. Desde ayer estuvimos afuera de las oficinas de Centenia y hoy también lo vamos a hacer, que nos apoyen, que vayan y estén con nosotros un rato. Lo vamos a estar haciendo hoy y mañana y lo que el resto de la semana, de aquí al lunes, y pues quiero pedirles a todos su apoyo.
And I want to ask everyone to come out and be with us. We were at in vigil all day yesterday at the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Office in Centennial. We're going to be out there again today and tomorrow until Monday, and so we hope that people can come out and join us in community and in vigil and to help us say no to this deportation and yes to releasing Arturo.
Bueno, pues es todo. Muchísimas gracias a todos.
That's all. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for being on the line.
And thank you, Ana. Gracias tanto por estar con nosotros. We know that this is an extremely hard time for Ana and the family, so we are very grateful to see their organizing effort to mobilize and their leadership to help the release with Arturo. Estamos muy agradecidos de ver este esfuerzo que está poniendo como también líder en la comunidad para que Arturo se salga con libertad. So next we will go to Reverend Mike Moron with the First Unitarian Society of Denver, the very congregation that Arturo stayed in while fighting for his case, and also the same congregation that Jeanette is now residing in, and she works for her case. So, Reverend Mike, thanks for being with us. And if you are with us right now, we can't hear you yet. Perhaps *6 would work, or unmuting your phone. Is that you, Reverend Mike?
Oh. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Oh, good. All right. Yeah. I guess, I would just add a few things. And first, I would just say thanks to Anna and to Jeanette for sharing their stories and being willing to go through all this. And just Anna, I don't know if you can hear me right this moment, but we haven't had a chance to speak since yesterday, so I just want to say God bless you, and I'm so sorry this is happening. I would just add to the general discussion. One of the things I would like to get out to the larger world, if at all possible, is some of the misconceptions around the immigrant community. There is a great misconception in our world that there is an us and a them. There is no us and a them. The fate of the immigrant community in the United States is the fate of all of us here in the United States. The immigrant community is woven into the fabric of our nation, and you cannot pull that thread out of the tapestry and have the tapestry hold together. I think that is just really an important thing for everyone to understand. I wish our president would understand that. Jeff Sessions and Immigrations and Customs Enforcement. I also want to just say a brief word about Arturo. We should all be really clear that that the administration is being extremely disingenuous when it says it's only going after people who are dangerous. ICE knows Arturo Hernandez García very well. They know he is not a threat to anyone at any level. They know this, and yet they still detained him and are planning to deport him. So they're lying when they say this, and that needs to be really well known. It is one other thing I would just add to that. The crime, and I say this because I get letters and emails from people in the larger community about this, that Arturo is here illegally and he is a criminal and he deserves to be deported. But let's be really clear that the crime that he is guilty of, overstaying his visa, is a misdemeanor. And in a country that functions by the rule of law, the punishment should fit the crime. The punishment that Arturo and his family are being subjected to for this misdemeanor is absolutely obscene. The degree of suffering, the tearing apart of his family, the stress on himself, his children, his wife, his community is so far beyond the pale of the crime that was committed that it's just hard to imagine we can still call ourselves a country of laws under such conditions. I think that's all I really need to add at this point, except that perhaps First Unitarian Denver, we know Arturo and his family. We love Arturo and his family, and we will continue standing with them in any possible way that we can.
Great. Thank you so much, Pastor Mike, for all the support that you have given to Arturo and their family, and as well as Jeanette and her family. So we have come to the final part of our program, so we can open it now to questions. And I believe many questions were emailed in. And Josh, do you want to kind of help lead us through this question period?
Yeah, let me first read out the questions that were emailed to me, and if folks do want to email in more questions, you can send those to news@afsc.org. So the first question that I have is from Jesse Paul of Denver Post. This is for Jeanette. How is Jeanette feeling about the prospect of spending 4 years in the First Unitarian Center, and how does what happened to Arturo make her feel?
Great. So, Piper, do you want to help interpret for that question? La pregunta fue para Jeanette.
Okay. So, Jeanette, la pregunta es cómo se siente de posiblemente tener que vivir todos los 4 años de Trump en santuario. ¿Estás ahí todavía, Jeanette?
Jeanette, ¿estás? Hello, Jeanette?
So, I just said Jeanette a text to see if she can call back in and she got dropped off. So maybe we could hold questions for Jeanette right now and go to other questions.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I think I got dropped off for a minute, too.
Okay, I'll go to the next question and then bring that back when we have Jeanette again. So this was another question from Jesse at Denver Post. What does Arturo's arrest mean to the sanctuary movement?
Piper, do you want to take that, or you want me to?
Sure, I can start, and then if you want to ask something.
All right.
So, this is Jennifer with the AFSC. I think Arturo's detention and arrest sends a very, for me personally, makes the knowledge that the Trump administration has shifted their policies to include everyone. It makes that intellectual knowledge that I had before real all the way to the core of my being. And I think that I speak for folks who are engaged in sanctuary across the country, that we deeply understand how serious the administration is about their priorities and about taking people out of our communities, and that we will continue to interrupt and resist and support immigrants who are fighting to stay with their families in any way they need us.